Good morning, dear students. In the last class, we had focused on the schools of thought and we had recapitulated them. Today, I'm going to discuss about the development of psychology in India. The Indian philosophical tradition is rich in its focus on mental processes and reflections on human consciousness, self, mind-body relations, and a variety of mental functions like cognition, perception, illusion, attention, and reasoning. The development of discipline in India continues to be dominated by Western psychology, although some attempts have been made to find the points of difference both within the country and abroad. The modern era of Indian psychology began in the Department of Philosophy at the Calcutta University, where the first syllabus of experimental psychology was introduced and the first psychology laboratory was established in 1915. Interestingly, Calcutta University started the first Department of Psychology in the year 1916 and even applied psychology in 1938. The beginning of this modern experimental psychology was greatly influenced by the Indian psychologist Dr. N.N. Sengupta, and he was trained in USA in the experimental traditions of Wilhelm Wundt. If you remember, Wilhelm Wundt was the pioneer of structuralism school of thought. Professor Bose established Indian Psychoanalytical Association in 1922. The departments of psychology in the universities of Mysore and Patna were the early centers of teaching and research in psychology. The search for a new identity of psychology in India led to the phase of indigenization, which started during the late 1970s and originated from the Indian cultural context. Psychology in India is now being applied in diverse professional areas. Not only have psychologists been working with children with special problems, they are also employed in hospitals as clinical psychologists, in corporate organizations in the HRD sector, in advertisement departments, in sports, developmental sector, and the IT industry. Durganand Sinha, in his book Psychology in a Third World Country, The Indian Experience, traces the history of our modern psychology as a social science in 4 phases. The first phase is still independence, with emphasis on experimental, psychoanalytical and psychological testing research. Second phase in 1960s till 1960s was an expansion of psychology in India into different branches of psychology. However, psychology in India sought to become prevalent for Indian society in the post-1960s phase of problem-oriented approach, where psychologists became focused on addressing the problems of Indian society. Further, the limitations of the excessive dependence on Western psychology for a social context were also realized. Leading psychologists ultimately made a search for a new identity of psychology that led to the phase of indigenization, which I just talked about, that started during the late 1970s. Having finished with the development of psychology in India, we now come to the branches of psychology. There are a variety of branches of psychology. A few have been mentioned in this particular diagram over here. Industrial psychology, social psychology, developmental psychology, clinical, personality, biological, educational. Well, we will be taking the different branches of psychology one by one. The first branch of psychology is called cognitive psychology. Cognition, as you know, involves thinking, understanding, perceiving, memorizing, and problem solving. And mind is like a computer. It receives information, processes that input, transforms it, stores it, and converts it into an output and retrieves information as well. So, it investigates mental processes involved in the acquisition, storage, manipulation, and transformation of information received from the environment with its use and communication. Biological psychology. Biological psychology focus on the relationship between behavior and the physical system, including the brain and the rest of the nervous system. Now you must be wondering that in psychology, why do we study brain and endocrine glands? Let me tell you children, there are different parts of the brain which are responsible for different type of behavior, for the execution of different type of behavior. And similarly, hormonal imbalances may also result in different types of behavior. So the biological psychology focuses on the relationship between the behavior and physical system. Neuropsychology has emerged as a field of research where psychologists and neuroscientists are working together. Basically, they study a chemical called neurotransmitter that are responsible for communication in the different areas of the brain and also with different mental functions. Advanced technologies like EEG, PET and fMRI also conduct research on people with normal functioning brain as well as with people with damaged brain. The next branch of psychology that we would be dealing with is known as developmental psychology, the study of a person from womb to tomb or from conception to that of old age. The primary concern of developmental psychologists is how we become what we are. And for many years, there was a great emphasis on adolescent development, child development. But today, adult and aging process, they are also gathering a lot of attention. And psychologists try to understand that what are the biological, socio-cultural and environmental factors that affect intelligence, emotion, morality and social relationships. The next psychology branch that we are going to study is social psychology. We are all a part of society. We all have good interpersonal relationships or bad interpersonal relationships. We continue to think and influence others. Social psychologists are primarily interested about concepts or facts like attitude, conformity, obedience to authority, interpersonal attraction, prejudice, behavior, social motivation, etc. And how do they govern our behavior? Now I come to cross-cultural and cultural psychology. Again, culture has evolved over a period of time, and culture involves rituals, values, ideologies. So cross-cultural and cultural psychology examine the role of culture in understanding behavior, thought and emotion. Human behavior is not only governed by the brain or various biological activities, but it is also governed by the culture that we live. The kind of culture, the kind of tradition, the kind of customs that we follow also govern our behavior. So, we have to study people from a socio-cultural context. Environmental study or environmental psychology studies the relationship between human beings and the environment. Various factors like temperature, humidity, pollution, natural disasters impact human behavior. Same way, environment also has an impact on the way we think, our emotions, our perceptions, our living style, attitudes, occupation, etc. The next branch of psychology is health psychology. Health psychology, my dear students, focuses on certain psychological factors like stress and anxiety, and how these factors can be, the intensity of these factors can be reduced so that one can easily treat an illness. The areas of intervention for a health psychologist are how does a person cope with a stressful situation, the relationship between psychological factors, patient-doctor relationship, and how to promote health-enhancing factors. So, health psychology is concerned with how psychological, behavioral, and cultural factors contribute to physical health and illness. Now comes a very, very important domain, children. It is clinical and counseling psychology. Clinical psychology deals with the causes of a psychological disorder. It could be anxiety, it could be depression, eating disorder, it could be a mood disorder, right? So they try to understand that what are the symptoms of the disorder, how we can treat, how we can prevent these psychological disorders. It can even involve substance abuse like alcohol, drugs, etc. Counseling can be applicable to everyday functioning. Every day we are occupied with challenges and circumstances. Some of us are able to cope up with these challenges. For others, it may be a little difficult. So, it is a role of counseling psychologists to help people in solving their problems of daily living and to cope up more effectively with challenging situations. You can see here the difference between clinical and counseling psychology. Clinical psychologists work with severe mental illnesses. Counseling psychologists work with psychological issues but may not be severe mental illnesses. Clinical psychologists mostly work in hospital and clinical settings, whereas counseling psychologists work in universities and educational institutes as well. Now, counseling psychologists provide guidance and advice to people or to students in different domains in life, such as in job, school, family relationship, career planning. Clinical psychologists basically provide treatment to patients using different psychotherapies and intervention. So, a clinical psychologist requires an intensive training in treating people with psychological disorders, whereas a counseling psychologist basically provides advisory services and also help to the people who are facing challenges in their everyday life. So one must know these differences between clinical and counseling psychology, although most of the areas are overlapping with each other. Next we come to is industrial psychology, where industry, corporate houses are a place where because of monotony of activities or work, people may suffer from various issues like stress at the workplace, right? Reduced productivity, absenteeism from the workplace, even issues in proper training and development. So, industrial and organizational psychology are concerned with training the employees, improving the working conditions, and developing criteria for selection of the employees. So, this particular slide highlights all these aspects. The next field of psychology that we would like to take up right now is known as educational psychology. Educational psychology studies how people of all ages learn. They are concerned with research on issues of relevance for education, counseling, as well as learning problems. A related field is known as the school psychology. It focuses on designing programs that promote intellectual, social, and emotional development of children. Educational psychology is involved with immediate problems than are most school psychologists or school counselors. They are concerned with increasing the efficiency of learning in school by applying their psychological knowledge about learning and motivation to the curriculum. The next branch of psychology is that of sports psychology. Well, even sportsmen need to be motivated because failures are a part of life, but failures are the pillars to success. Sports psychology applies psychological principles to improve the sports performance by enhancing their motivation with the help of proper training programs so that they do not lose their temperament, they do not lose their tempo. Nowadays, sports psychology is gaining a lot of acceptance worldwide. The other emerging disciplines of psychology are aviation psychology, space psychology, military psychology, engineering psychology, political psychology, forensic psychology, rural and community psychology. So today, children, we have basically studied about how psychology developed in a country like India, which has deep philosophical roots, and how we moved from this to the development of modern experimental laboratory and a properly well-designed curriculum at the Department of Psychology, which was established in Calcutta and also in the other states later on. We have also understood today the various branches of psychology and how you can take any of the branch of the psychology as a career option. So the basic idea is to acquaint yourself, or to acquaint my dear students, with the various career opportunities that lie before you after you pursue a graduation or a post-graduation in the field of psychology. I hope this session has been interesting enough. Thank you and have a good day.